Good morning, little children. Okay, hope you had a nice weekend. And let's look at page 119, textbook 2A. We're still on measure and we're looking at something called perimeter. Now, the perimeter of a shape is simply the total distance around its outside. So you've got a shape there, it's an odd shape, and all you have to do is add up the lengths of each of the sides to find a total length. And you can have a perimeter of just about anything. You could have a perimeter of a house. There's a perimeter of the school. I have no idea what it is, but you could measure it by measuring round the outside of the school. So that would mean go round the playground, and you'd have to do it really. The line that you're measuring would basically have to touch the school. So whether you were to draw it on the ground with chalk, it would be right in at the edge. That's where the perimeter would be. And for a sum, you have got 1.9, add 10.5, add 7.1, add 5.6, and that's in brackets, and then you've got centimetres at the end, and that shows us that all of these are in centimetres. And given the total of 25.1 centimetres, that's really just to save you writing cm every single time. Okay, there's another way of laying it out, which is like this, where you've got the centimetres above the units column, and then you don't have to write centimetres again. You just write it once at the top of the units column if you want to do your sums like that. Okay, so let's look at the exercise. This is exercise 4, and we're going to do the whole down to the bottom of the page. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, number 1, it says show your working. I don't mind if you want to set it out like the way in the yellow box or in the way that I've shown you. I don't mind, as long as it's the best way for you, as long as it works for you and you get the correct answer every time. So the perimeter for this triangle in number 1 is just adding these together. 16 add 14 add 18. Now what I'm going to tell you here is a little hint that will help you later on. If the triangle had sides that were all the same length, and there are triangles like that, this triangle here isn't like that, but if all the triangles had lines the same length, then only one label would be there. So say all the sides of this triangle were 16 centimetres. There wouldn't be anything written on the other two sides. It would just be left blank. That does not mean that the perimeter is 16 centimetres. It would mean the perimeter is 16, add 16, add 16. Because you've got to add the lengths of all the sides. And there's 3 sides in a triangle, and if they're all the same length, then it's 16, add 16, add 16. Okay, now I'm telling you that about number 1 to help you with questions 3 and 4. Let's look at number 2. So number 2, find the perimeter. That is straightforward adding. That's all it is. Number 3, calculate the perimeter of this rectangle. And there's a hint there, and think back to what I said about a triangle with all the lengths, all the sides the same length. Hint, it is not 7.8 centimetres and 3.9 centimetres. There's more to it than that. And I'm going to tell you a few things about these here. So basically 4 is the same as 3, but there's just more questions. I'm going to draw your attention to D. So what you can see there is a rectangle with only one side with a length, but through all 4 sides there's a line at the centre of each line, at each side. That little line is actually telling you something, and what it's telling you is that these are all the same length. So what we know about D is it's actually a square, and there's only one length there, 12.5 centimetres. So use the information I've told you to work out D. E has got some extra information, which is this diagonal line through the middle at 52 millimetres. Now, once you get into P7, you're going to do a lot of work on triangles and angles and so on. And actually, if we've got time, I don't know if we will, this term, that's what we'll go to, that's what we'll work on next, is triangles and angles and things. But this would be enough information, this would be extra information just to reinforce that this is a rectangle. That's all it's doing. So essentially, you can ignore the line in the middle. You've already been told it's a rectangle, and you can ignore the 52 millimetres. Okay? If you've got any problems with these, please get back to me. Don't hesitate. Okay?